If someone wanted to grab your money tomorrow, could they freeze it by Friday? Most successful people say, hey, I'm insured. I'm fine. That's how millionaires lose yachts, rentals, and investment accounts. The rich don't gamble, they structure. I'm the business guy, the CEO of the Lawyers Limited law firm and asset protection planners. And for 34 years, I've helped clients keep what they've earned. And for nearly 30, I've set up Cook Islands Trusts, and our firm has created more of them than any firm in the world. So stick around. I'll show you how the ultra wealthy quietly firewall their fortunes from lawsuits, ex-spouses, and creditors. And subscribe for more clear, plain English wealth protection strategies. And when you're ready for a real plan, visit assetprotectionplanners.com. Now, in 3 minutes, I'll tell you how a simple paperwork error cost an investor $2.4 million before the trial even started. First of all, here's why the rich plan ahead. Lawsuits follow money like sharks follow blood. U.S. files millions of civil suits yearly, and most never go to trial. Yet one court order can freeze your funds overnight. You get sued, your bank gets served, the balance locked. No one proved anything yet. The attorney just took the first swing. And that's why people with real assets protect them before trouble starts, not after. It's like installing airbags before the crash. And really, it's something that I've seen all the time. I see assets getting frozen mid-lawsuit. And all you have to do is ask the judge. And if the judge says, yes, your assets are frozen until the pit bull's teeth are off your neck. Okay, now let's talk about the 3 wealth shields. Every serious plan rests on 3 layers. Title, that is, who owns it on paper. If it's in your name, you're a target. Equity, that means if it looks over leveraged, lawyers lose interest. If it looks like there's no equity in, say, a piece of real estate, they're less likely to pursue you. And then finally, jurisdiction, the legal system your assets answer to. A U.S. judge's power stops at the border. So stack them right, and you're like a vault with 3 doors. They might open one, but they'll never reach the gold. Okay, here's the power combo, the Cook Islands Trust plus LLC. So here's the structure that turns panic into peace. We set up a Cook Islands Trust here, represented by this box. That's the Cook Islands Trust. Inside it lives a Cook Islands LLC. That's the circle here. Now you manage it here while the waters are calm. You move funds, pay bills, invest, total control. Now, when a lawsuit strikes, our licensed bonded trustee company law firm over here in the Cook Islands temporarily steps in as LLC manager. Their duty, protect the beneficiaries, you and your family. Since your local court has no jurisdiction there, your money stays safe and legal. So think of it like a safety pilot. You fly the plane, and then if turbulence hits, the safety pilot takes the yoke until you're steady again. In fact, when I was learning how to fly, I'm a pilot, not professionally, but just as a hobby. I haven't flown for a while, though. I remember we're flying over this airport. I don't believe I was instrument rated yet. I actually had a buddy in the back. He was riding along and on the lesson, and it was just total overcast. So so my flight instructor took the controls from me, and he flew through this hole in the cloud, just like almost straight down, and then landed in an airport down below the cloud cover. And so that's an example where an expert steps in when things get crazy. When things get difficult, they step in, and he landed the plane safely. I probably couldn't have done it because I wasn't instrument rated at that time. I am now. But that's what the trustee does. When things get stormy, they step in and maintain the calm and keep your assets out of harm's reach. So this system was engineered after real court battles, and it's why billionaires sleep and creditors quit. So here's a case study, the surgeon who had insurance. A surgeon, let's call him Dr. M, made $1.6 million a year, owned rentals, investments. I got insurance, he said. Then came the malpractice suit. The lawyer demanded more than the policy limits and moved to freeze his brokerage account. But that account was under his Cook Islands LLC. And the freeze hit his U.S. bank, which held very little, offshore, untouchable. So the case settled within insurance policy limits. He kept every property. So insurance pays defense lawyers, but structures protect the owners of those assets. Now here's the paperwork mistake that cost $2.4 million. Remember when we brought that up in the beginning. An investor, let's call him AG, kept $2.4 million in a U.S. brokerage account in his personal name. Now, during a partner dispute, the opponent got a temporary restraining order freezing that account, so to preserve assets, as they called it. No one had won anything yet. It was mid-lawsuit. But the money was locked for 18 months, and he eventually settled just to unfreeze it. Had he titled inside of a Cook Islands LLC owned by the Cook Islands Trust, and that's how we do it. The LLC inside the trust holds the account, and then the Cook Islands Trust owns that LLC. And again, the reason we do that is so it gives you something to control while the waters are calm, and something that you can switch the lever over this way when things get crazy, and the trustee can step in to protect you. The trustee company law firm, a very, very highly regulated, trustworthy jurisdiction. So that order would have bounced off if he had done that. So here's the moral. Never let your name sit on the prize. Okay, so what about your real estate? People ask, should I move my U.S. properties offshore or into an offshore structure? No, that creates no, you shouldn't. Instead, we use equity stripping. Each property goes into a land trust for privacy. Let me illustrate that here. You can see here each property is on its own separate land trust, and that way that keeps your name off of the public records. And then we make an LLC the beneficiary of each land trust. So the land trust provides privacy of ownership. The LLC provides a protection. And you can see over here for your personal residence, it's missing the LLC. The reason is because the personal residence sits in a different tax bucket. So we don't typically associate an LLC with a land trust that's associated with your personal residence. You just keep it in the land trust alone. You keep all the tax benefits. You also keep all the tax benefits here on this other side too, because these are flow-through entities. It's not favorable to own your personal residence in an LLC in most cases, in most states. So what we do next is we record a line of credit mortgage. Usually this is in favor of your Cook Islands LLC. So this is just a line of credit, so no money's changing hands initially. And then if needed, we get a third-party lender to buy those liens, and we send the proceeds of those liens that are bought by the third-party lender, the cash they give you, into your offshore trust. That way everything's stripped of its equity that's in the U.S., and then the value, the money, is sitting offshore inside the offshore trust structure. So on paper, your property looks fully leveraged, so nothing worth chasing. It's 100% legal. You still own it, just strategically. You just structured it differently. Okay, here's a question we get sometimes. And I know because I've been doing this for just about 30 years. Can the trustee steal my money? That's a good question. The trustee is licensed. They're bonded. They're full of lawyers under Cook Islands regulation. If they break fiduciary duty, they lose their license, their career, and their freedom. So you control assets when calm. When a court order or a creditor appears, they step in temporarily to protect you. When the storm clears, management returns to you. So they're not investors, they're the firewall. You run your life, they block the fire. And even when they step in, you can still go online and do your stock trades. I do. I mean, I have a Cook Islands Trust myself. They're the signatory on that account, but I can go in there and do my trades and see the accounting how I want to. And if I want money, it just gets sent to me. So that's how the Cook Islands Trust protects you. But when a court orders you to hand the money over, they say, ho, no, we're not going to do that, and your money stays safe and secure. Okay, here's when judges get mad. Let's say a U.S. judge yells, bring the money back. Now, he can pressure you to ask, but he cannot compel a non-U.S. trustee or bank. The trustee answers to Cook Islands law, not his gavel. So you show that you legally can't comply, and that's not contempt, that's just reality. So this is why timing really matters. You set this up before a claim, so transfers are clean and trustees are independent. So that's the difference that really decides whether you're protected or exposed. Now, some people ask about a domestic trust. States like South Dakota, I think that as far as domestic trust goes, I like South Dakota the best. When I've studied all the laws of all the states, I'm not saying they're good, but among the bad alternatives, domestic trusts That would be the most favorable one. But here's the problem. Domestic asset protection trusts, they sit under the U.S. jurisdiction. One creative judge, one federal order, and they crack. And we see it all the time. These are penetrated left and right. We've never seen one of our Cook Islands trusts penetrated. And like I say, we've said it more of them than anybody in the world. So that says a lot. Cook Islands law does not recognize U.S. judgments. Creditors must fly there, hire local counsel, post a bond, prove a fraudulent conveyance beyond a reasonable doubt within a short statute of limitations period. So that's why almost nobody even tries. In fact, it's the legal equivalent of putting your assets behind a vault door on another continent. Here's a second case study, the contractor and the ladder. A contractor, RJ, did $12 million a year in business, in the construction business. A subcontractor's worker fell from a ladder, severely injured. The plaintiff went after RJ personally, aiming for his rentals and brokerage. But his properties carried liens payable to his Cook Islands LLC, and his liquid assets were already offshore. We got a third-party lender to purchase those liens, put the cash offshore, so that a true third party held the mortgage. The plaintiff's attorney realized that even a victory would collect nothing. So what's the point in pursuing and getting a mouthful of sand in the end? They spend all this money and they get nothing. So they settled for pennies on the dollar. RJ kept every asset. So offshore protection doesn't dodge responsibility. It removes leverage from opportunists. Okay, let's talk about the personal guarantee trap. Here's the most dangerous document in business. It's the PG, the personal guarantee. Now, banks and landlords love slipping it in, and it ties your personal fortune to a company debt. But before signing one, make sure your structure is in place. If you've already signed, it's not too late. So build that firewall now. If you've already signed a personal guarantee, many of you have. So then, if the guarantee ever gets called, you can negotiate from strength, not fear. Okay, here's how the plan unfolds. Here's how we roll out this step by step. Confidential strategy call. That's number one. You go to assetprotectionplanners.com. We identify your assets, threats, timing, and that's the first step. Next is the design phase. We work with you to build your Cook Islands Trust, your Cook Islands LLC, any domestic LLCs or land trust needed, and even if the Cook Islands Trust is right for you or it's not, maybe a Belize trust if you're already in litigation, or maybe something else. So we work with you to find the best solution for your particular needs, your particular assets. Next, the banking setup. Your Cook Islands LLC gets its own offshore bank account. And usually with the bank accounts that we utilize, you can also buy stock, so it's a bank/brokerage account. You control it while calm. And when the heat gets too high, our trustee company law firm, the group can get in there to protect you and do what you paid them to do. Okay, funding and titling. Move cash or investments into the LLC that's inside the trust, and then title real estate properly into land trusts and LLCs as beneficiaries for rental properties. Record protective liens is the next step. Okay, next, the trigger rules. Define exactly when our trustee steps in. Lawsuit filed, freeze attempt, or creditor threat. Next is maintenance, annual checkup, so your protection grows as you do. We have a renewals team, so next year we'll call you and help you make sure your trust and company, we can do that, helps keep it in good standing. Fast, compliant, and built for real people with real wealth. Okay, here's when to start. If you're already sued, we can still help, but the options shrink pretty quickly. So the best time to act is before trouble. The second best time, right now. A Cook Islands plan has real cost, legal work, filings, trustee service, but compare that to losing even one property or brokerage account. The most expensive plan is the one that you never did. So clients tell me their first night of sleep after we finish is worth the cost of setting this up. The next time a lawyer letter shows up, they don't panic, they just smile. Okay, here's a quick audit, and ask yourself if you're a target. Grab a mental checklist. If you answer yes to 2 or more, it's time to act. You hold accounts in your personal name. Your rentals are titled to you personally. You've signed personal guarantees. You lack liens protecting property equity. Your LLC and personal finances mix. Each check mark is a plaintiff's dream, and your invitation to fix it before they find you. So here's the mindset of those of us who are protected. It's a lot of peace of mind. True wealth protection isn't paranoia. It's professionalism. It's doing things right. It says, I worked decades for this, and I'm not leaving it to chance. You'll notice a pattern among protected clients. They're calm. They make decisions without fear because they already built the walls. And that's the secret. Control before crisis. So here's a recap. Let's go ahead and recap your action plan. 3 layers, remember: title, equity, jurisdiction. Cook Islands Trust plus LLC inside of it. You manage in calm waters. Our bonded trustee steps in only under legal duress. Land trusts and liens for U.S. real estate use privacy and equity stripping, not risky transfers. So we do the equity stripping liens against the properties. They're held in land trusts with LLCs as the beneficiaries. Next, no blind spots. Handle your guarantees, brokerage titles, and commingling before somebody else handles them for you, because eventually if they find that out, you could be dead meat. So if you remember one line, be the hardest person in the room to collect from. If that's what you want to do, well, you know what to do. You can reach out to us. So if this video helped you think differently, subscribe now. It tells YouTube that you value a real legal insight. And if you are ready to protect your assets, you can visit us at assetprotectionplanners.com with an S at the end, assetprotectionplanners.com. You get a lot of free information there. And then you could also get a confidential consultation. So I'm Kevin, the business guy, the CEO of the Lawyers Limited Law Firm, and our sub-brand Asset Protection Planners. I've been in this field for 34 years, setting up Cook Islands Trust for nearly 30 of them, and we've established more of them than anybody in the world. So the world rewards builders and also tests them. So build your shield while the waters are calm. When the storm comes, you'll already be inside.